Yeah, it's a male dominated phenomenon. So I'm guessing. It's just a guess. I guess that's what it means. It's amplifying those violent traits that men do when they're pushed to their limits. That men have when they're pushed to their limits. What was the other one you wanted me to look up?
Oh no, I think we kind of guess. I think we're confident that you can look it up, but it was rationalizing or rationality of immorality or something. Wasn't it rationalizing immorality?
Oh,
I think that's just like them trying to make sense, them trying to like excuses for their poor behavior, basically.
Yeah. If I if I do this, it's the right thing to do.
Yeah. So I can't find anything on gendered performance. I think that's whoever made these slides. I think that's just some peculiar fucking way they've framed it. But
if it would have been much better if they'd said something like masculine violent traits amplified or something, that would make more sense.
Yeah, I think it probably is something like that, though, isn't it? That makes the most sense, you know. I mean, gendered performance is going to be a man wanting sex of a woman, for example, or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Well,
gender difference in serial murders. Here we go. I found it.
Okay, good man.
I'll share this now in a second. 1 second now. Just let me see if this is there. Okay. This is a fucking. It's a fucking PDF. It's a long PDF, but let me see if I can find the abstract. Let me go back here. So basically, it says in the abstract here, male serial murderers have shown a tendency to use a hands-on approach in killing by using knives, blunt objects, and hands to kill their victims. Okay, so it's the nature of the murder. Okay, so the man is going to be kind of hands-on, violent, and the woman might be more subtle. Who knows? She might stab him in the back or give him poison or something. You know what I mean? She might kill them with arsenic or something. You know what I mean? I'm guessing that's it. What do you think?
I agree. I think when men are violent, we do it in the what am I going to say? At that point in time, we will be violent. As for planning,
that's not a Freudian slip there, my friend, is it? I'm joking.
We would be violent.
The serial killer, the Kiwi serial killer of Japan. I'm only joking.
I'm revealing myself. I've got plans. I've read.
No, we shouldn't laugh. We shouldn't laugh because there have been some terrible crimes in Japan. What about the killing spree that comes to mind in Japan? Was it a cult or something that gassed everybody in the fucking subway? What was
that? What do they call themselves? Rikyo, and I know I've butchered that. But they that was a turning point. But even I that's more of a cult thing. I was thinking more about the Akihabara stabbing spree, where a guy just went to Akihabara and just went nuts, just waving his knife around at people and killing a number of people. So I think with guys, I think we tend to we bottle things up and all that. I mean, all these cliches and all that kind of stuff. And so there's just a small fraction of men, when they explode, they just fucking explode. And you can't stop them.
I agree with you, and I think that's just by nature as well. Women can't always enact on their desires. Sometimes they have to be more careful because they haven't got the physical strength. You know.
There is But again, like you say, there's plenty of cases of like the poisoning and all that kind of stuff. That seems to be
I mean, there's been some seriously sick fucking women in the world. I mean, I remember I read a case about this Italian serial killer, and I don't know if it's the 20th century, early 20th or late 19th, but she used to fucking kill people and fucking boil them up and make soap out of them.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. There's some fucking Jesus Christ, man. Brother Marcus, have you got anything to say, my friend?
Welcome to the world where they live among us, and
they live among
symptoms that you were. Was it symptoms or triggers or whatever you were talking about? It's totally. I've seen a lot of that online, so it's, I don't. I could see that happening for sure.
Well, you see, the thing is, just because it's not everybody who has. It's like there's a broad spectrum of things that everyone has. Like there's a whole set of things. You know what I mean? So if you just have one thing, it doesn't mean you're going to be a serial killer.
No. I mean, like the whole set of like financial problems, social isolation,
all right,
constant stress, like all of that is just like a lot of people, especially in pessimism communities, like that's or spaces, have that. So that
I would say that some of these pessimists have a kind of, some of them have an empathy gene, though. It would seem that's why they're pessimistic. That they care. Sometimes.
Mm-hmm. And then some of them are misanthropic. They have fantasies.
Yeah, I would say it'd be very peculiar. From what I see with these serial killers so far online, is a lot of the ones seem to be loners, and they don't seem to mix. And I would say that would include online as well. I mean, if they're that way inclined, I would say they're unlikely to give out their plan before they do something. Like if they're organized, they're not going to put out their plan because they're organized. They want to hide what they do.
You'd call Ted Bundy an exception then, I guess, because he was very gregarious.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying, he was gregarious, he was grandiose. No, what I'm saying, Dog, is if someone is a serial killer, I would say they're not likely to tell people or to overtly show that they're a serial killer if they're intelligent. You know what I mean? Online.
I don't think they would. Well, but then again, you never know. I mean,
if they're organized, but if they're unorganized, right? It said that person's unintelligent, so maybe they're the ones that will give off the cues. Maybe, I don't know, or maybe they. I don't know.
Part of the serial killer personality style. Some of them like to boast about what they do.
Yes, but after the fact, I think.
Yeah.
Like
I think that's how a few of them have been caught even before the internet. Some of them would write. I think it was the Zodiac killer never got caught, but he was, whoever that was, wrote to the papers and made them print letters and stuff. Like I think some of these guys like to boast about their work.
Well, as you said, like some of them don't even get caught. So I don't know. When I leave in the apartment and I'm like, okay, I can't tell who I'm walking by, and
It is a scary thing about, when you kind of grow up and you realize that you could be walking past someone who's done terrible things, and it's like, fuck, I remember volunteering somewhere once, and there was a few murderers there, who'd done murder, you know what I mean? And, I never knew why they did it or whatever, and they were like problematic. They were drinking drugs, you know what I mean? I'll be honest with you, I was judgmental though. I was, I didn't like them, even though I didn't know the stories, I suppose. But from what I gather, they killed other men, But I'm like certain crimes, like certain murders, you can understand. I know that's terrible. I'll probably get shot for saying that, but I can understand some crimes of passion. Like they are unlawful. Like I can understand, for example, a woman killing her rapist or her abuser, sexual abuser, or a man killing a man who abused him, like as a child or whatever. I can understand those types of crimes, and I think the courts do as well. Sometimes I think they take that into consideration. Sometimes, their mitigation,
there's that defense. What is it?
Yeah,
that woman can use battered woman syndrome or something.
Battered wife syndrome. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I think there should be I think there should be like one for men as well, because a lot of men get domestically abused as well.
But that could be a self-defense thing. But but in domestic abuse situations, it's always going to be the man that's considered the prime suspect. Like that's going to be the person that's removed from the home.
Statistically, do you think that's justified?
No idea. I think when it comes to domestic violence, we have to be careful. Like I mean, I've said this before, and this is actually Bill Burr does a great bit on this. That just because a guy punches his girl, if you just look at that that point in time, the guy needs to be buried under the jail without any doubt. But what led up to that? There's like, there are some guys who, as we've talked, as DNW you've talked about in these slides, you feel the awkwardness in the chat already. You can, but in the slides that you've shown, you push a guy to his limits far enough, when he sees no other way out, he's gonna lash out with violence. That's just gonna.
Oh, sorry, I meant like when the police take the man first, like without even knowing the story.
Oh, without
like,
even knowing.
Like,
I think that's justified, but yes, I do. I'll say yes.
Because like I don't even know the stats, but I don't think it's that much of a stretch to say that if you don't know the situation, you're just going in to assess. You're going to remove the physical threats, and it's usually like
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
As long as it's followed up with a decent enough investigation. But I think if you're gonna, I think removing the guy is probably the best idea.
Yeah. So.
Okay. I've got another slide here. If I can share it 1 second.
I'm apparently streaming on my channel too now. Did you
Are
know
you?
you had that feature on? Yeah.
What?
Like when I logged into here, it said you could restream on your channel, and I clicked it, and I didn't even know that was a thing.
Really? So what? My show is now on your channel as well?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. Okay.
And that's
So it is.
I could turn it off though if
Oh, you can do it. It's okay.
Feels like I'm leeching off of you.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, I won't let that happen in future, but I don't mind it this week. I mean, it's just because it's not you; it's other people. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I want to delete the fucking stream afterwards. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So here we go. Here's a slide about mass murderer characteristics. Okay, so this is in America. 93.8% male, 61.7% white, over 30 years of age in 40% of cases. The warrior mentality, I mean, that's kind of related to psychopathy, you know. The warrior gene, you've heard about the warrior gene, have you? Externalizes blame, yeah, we mentioned that earlier. Loners, atypical behaviors, okay. So unusual behaviors.
I'm fascinated. I can't believe the over 30. That I found that surprised by that.
Yeah, but
what do you mean?
That means under 30 is 60%. So I'm not sure why they did that.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. This isn't the serial killers because this is mass murderer. So this is the people who the school shooters, right?
Mm.
Yeah,
so
they didn't put the 40% and not the 60% for the age. What the hell?
Yeah.
That's the kind of
it is an unusual way of doing it.
Doubt these kind of it just makes me go, why?
Well, yeah, as I said on the disclaimer, don't take everything here as 100% gospel. Do your own research, and don't fucking kill anybody as well. By the way,
I don't know. I
so
feel like when you get older, you get tired. I'm just
I haven't got the energy to be a mess.
I don't have the energy for that. Sorry.
Oh, thank God for that. Right. Let me see here.
Gallows humor to get through this hell, man. I'm telling you, I don't know.
Say that again, brother Marcus.
I use gallows humor. I understand it's a serious topic.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I use gallows humor as well. I like it. Mass murderer characteristics: they give little thought or concern to inevitable capture or death. It's basically suicide by cop. They commit crimes in public places. Their motive is retaliatory, based on rejection, failure, or loss of autonomy. The offense is an effort to regain a degree of control over their lives. Okay. Now, there's another slide here. Mass murder characteristics. Okay, defining characteristics of a mass murderer. Yeah, we kind of read this. It's a bit like some of the characteristics of a serial killer. Experience a lifetime of frustration, humiliation, and failure. Externalization of blame. Very angry, so oozing with anger. Fascination with guns, weapons, or violence. I mean, I am always a bit freaked out when you get like these muscle heads, like steroided fucking weirdos with like just profile picture of guns, and every fucking picture they're like shooting guns and shit. Clearly deranged individuals. They have a history of mental illness, for example, depression, antisocial personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, intermittent explosive disorder, or conduct disorder.
Wait,
Social isolation, conduct disorder. So that's like a explosive disorder. Yeah, that's somebody who just gets angry like all the time. Sometimes, you know what I mean? They just explode. Sometimes, you know.
Intermittent explosive IED. Oh, I never heard of this before.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bookmark
someone who just explodes with rage. You know, it's a bit like it's a bit like borderline, I suppose, but it's more kind of it's kind of just about the explosiveness. You know, they're just angry, get angry a lot. You know. Some might say it's just an excuse.
That's interesting you should say that, because when you're reading through all those characteristics, I mean, I share some of them. I'm not going to lie, and I think like when you
you are human. I mean, we all have we all have things like, you know.
Like when you say serial killers and mass murderers have these general characteristics, probably 99% of the population goes, "Crikey, I've got 50% of those."
Yeah. There, but for the grace of God, go I.
I think that's what it is. I really do. Yeah.
Social isolation or recent loss. Yeah. Prevention of mass murderers. Target hardening is ineffective, and prediction schemes are ineffective or unreliable, according to this slide that says here. So it's very difficult to prevent. I presume one of the greatest ways of preventing it. Oh, sorry, it's actually a really poor slide. It's going to be anticlimax, but I will share it 1 second. Okay. I will share it now that you asked. 1 second. Share screen 1 second. There you go. Can you see that?
Yes, thank you. Target hardening. I don't even know what that means.
Ineffective. Prediction schemes ineffective or unreliable. Target hardening. I mean, I'll look it up.
Does that
Why
mean
be lazy?
Deciding what your target or who your target's going to be, maybe.
Yeah, or it might be that just the target is hard to pin down. You know, as you said, most humans share these there's commonality, so it might be very hard to figure it out. You know, target.
Well, I guess that's an indictment of human. I was saying that that's an indictment of human nature. You know, but it's really, really deeply messy, I guess.
Oh, target. So like protecting your like security
yeah, strengthening security measures to make a person, place, or object more difficult for criminals to attack. Okay.
Yeah,
basically.
Right.
So that makes sense. So basically, for example, putting up CCTV cameras around red light districts, or giving fucking gay young men security alarms or something, in gay bars or something. I don't know. Prediction schemes ineffective and unreliable.
I guess
so basically, it just seems that the target hardening is.
So you can't do anything for security or prediction. So nothing. We can't do anything.
It's very difficult. It just seems that when these people have these compulsions, they'll find a way around it. It's like that, doesn't it?
So
I find it hard to believe. I find it hard to believe that if you take certain measures, it won't at least reduce it. It may, it has to reduce it somewhat, doesn't it? Having patrols.
There is evidence that shows that criminals will go for easier targets. Like if you're obviously not, if you're going to cause someone a problem as they try to rob you or something like that, or kill you, if they think you're going to put up any kind of a fight, there's a higher chance they'll not attack you. Whereas they'll seek out specifically.
I've read about these.
And it comes down to like this is the case with rapists. A lot of them There's a book called The Dark Side of Man by Michael Giglieri. He has a bit in there about rapists, the opportunist types, and they literally will just look for the woman they think aren't going to fight back. That's what they do.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So,
they are like lions looking at a herd of zebras looking for the weak link. I mean, it's that fucking big. Yeah.
So this says a lot about the way you carry yourself in public. You know, if you can show yourself to be confident, there's just it reduces the odds of you becoming a victim.
Yes, and here we go, guys. In terms of threat assessment, assessing the potential of for danger from an individual's utterances or behavior in regards to them being a mass murderer or serial killer. Low-level threat is vague. Okay, threat is implausible or inconsistent. Content of threat suggests person unlikely to carry it out. That's a low-level threat. Okay, so that's maybe on the radar, but not something to be taken serious with immediacy. Okay, medium level of threat is a direct, concrete threat. So obviously there seems to be that must mean there's a target. Okay, some details are given. Possible place and time articulated. Okay. Indication of preparatory steps, but vague. Okay. Statements of intent, such as "I'm serious." Now that's a medium level threat. Now that is something that I would say. Obviously, that it should be taken seriously. High level threats. These are the threat is direct, specific, and plausible. So, it's not some fantasist. This actually could happen. Okay. The threat suggests concrete steps taken in preparation. So this person has really planned it, okay, and there has been a weapon acquired, or they are like checking out the victim. They're stalking someone, or they're watching someone. There's some kind of observation going on, some serious planning going on. So that's the kind of how they evaluate the threats of an individual who's got the aforementioned traits and characteristics.
But then things can get really awkward even at that final stage. There's cases in Japan of stalking, and again it's typically men stalking women, and so the women go to the cops and say, "Look, I'm being stalked. Here's all the evidence," and the cops could say, "Well, we can't do something until something happens." That's basically the message they send, and I think that's the case in other jurisdictions as well, which is, it just blows my mind.
It's literally, it seems to be like they can't do anything until there's blood on the pavement sometimes. It's that insane. Yeah.
And it could just be a resource issue as well, rather than a legal issue. It just could be we don't have the management.
Yeah, I think it's like, it could be what you said earlier about the last couple of weeks ago about the justice system. Like, they just know that this isn't going to go through the courts. It's going to be a waste of resources,
Could be.
Whereas I would say, I think it's good to take someone in to show them that they're, even if it doesn't go to court, it's good to arrest someone. It's good to question them to show they're on the radar. But
if someone's psycho enough, that could be the event that pushes them over the edge.
That could be. It could be the final straw. They could think, yeah, you're right. It's fucking, you're right. Anyway, luckily there's criminologists who fucking understand this better than I do. Well, I would hope.
Do they have a YouTube channel that I could learn?
Oh, hopefully, if you can find it.
Sure, if you look it up, yeah. I mean, this conversation also makes me think about that guy, Chris Watt. Don't know if you guys remember him. He's the guy.
Oh, that was the guy who killed his family, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, crazy bastard. He was one sick bastard. He had a beautiful family, a beautiful wife, beautiful children, very happy family. He was living the American dream. He was rich. He was living in a nice neighborhood. And he started shagging someone else, didn't he? Some other bird. And then he killed his wife. And did he kill his own children as well?
Yeah.
Basically,
there's a whole lot more to it than that. Like it was just a storm of fuckity
craziness.
Yeah. The whole family.
So anyway, this is how to prevent serial killers or mass murderers, killing sprees, reduce chronic strain, stress basically. So prevent bullying, social support for those at risk. So if you recognize these the traits in people, you can try and help them. recognize or at least petition society or the politicians to set up services to help these types of people. Recognize difference between the troubled and the troublesome. Okay. Promote constructive images of masculinity. I suppose that is an issue here. Kind of the way that some people get demoralized or such because they're not deemed good enough, you know, and that can add to their feelings of self-loathing, which is one of the factors that does create future serial killers, future mass murderers. Listening. 80% of people reveal their plans to someone, apparently. 59% to 2 or more people. So, you know, apparently this is the case. Apparently, like, I've read it before. I've seen it on social media that, you know, someone has made a fucking video saying they're going to do something and people fucking ignore it, you know. So, yeah, listening.
Or it's just from some minor person who's no one's ever heard of. And then after they do the thing, suddenly, they find the video and it blows up.
Yeah. Gun availability. Yeah, this is more of an American thing. Do background checks, eliminate loopholes, limit automatic weapons, and ban high-capacity magazines. I mean, seriously, some of the guns they've allowed to be on the streets in America is absolutely insane. You know, stuff that, you know, even the Ukrainian army would love to have, you know. So stuff that shouldn't be in the hands of Joe Blogs, you know.
Yeah, but I think again that comes down to a cliche. I think criminals are going to get guns, regardless of the law.
They are, but I do think that I think that. Sorry,
what's the difference between troubled and the troublesome? I don't even know what the difference is with that.
Well, troubled
are the troubled and the troublesome.
I think troubled are people who have traits that are, for example, they're mentally ill or they're suffering because of life circumstances, and troublesome are people who are actually causing trouble for other people.
Okay.
Do you understand? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. What's this one here? I already read that. Surviving an attack. I told everybody about that earlier. Well, I think that's it. I think I'll leave it at that in terms of like slides and shit. I mean, is there any kind of particular cases you want to look at or anything like that? Any kind of serial killers that you remember or that
kind of this case of like someone who would bathe in women's blood. She was like a like they did it's like a vampire kind of story.
Yeah, if you can find it, you can present it, Brother Marcus.
Bathing in
Elizabeth Bathory.
Do you want to read it, Brother Marcus? Do you want to present screen and read it if you want? I'll let you.
A Hungarian. Here, I'll post the link because I don't know how to use computers.
Yes, you do. All right. It's okay.
What's her name?
All right.
I put it in the private chat.
All right.
I'm going to share it now. I'll read it.
Bathory.
1 second. I'm going to share it. 1 second. Can you see that?
Yep.
Yeah, you can. Okay, so Elizabeth Bathory, Countess Elizabeth Bathory of Exeter, was a Hungarian noblewoman. So she was born in 1560, died in 1614, and alleged serial killer from the powerful house of Bathory. Okay, who owned land in the Kingdom of Hungary, but now present-day Slovakia. Bathory and 4 of her servants were accused of torturing and killing hundreds, oh my God, of girls and women from 1590 to 1610. That is one thing about serial killers. They always pick fucking, vulnerable, fucking innocent targets. You know what I mean?
It tends to be old people, women, and children. Yeah.
Yeah. They don't go around killing fucking pedophiles or, people who are, causing them problems. They pick strange targets, but I think that's to do with the power thing. They need the person to be submissive, because that's a compulsion. They want to kill. They want to be successful in their killing. And it is very disturbing.
There's
when you
one
see a
serial
woman.
killer, Pedro Rodriguez Filho, I believe. He was.
Oh yeah, we mentioned him earlier. He's a Brazilian, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
What about him though? Sorry.
Well, he killed criminals.
Oh right, yeah.
He was a serial killer of criminals. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
Elizabeth Bathory. Yeah, she. What does it say here? She bathed in the blood of virgins to retain her youth. I mean, whether that's true or not is debated.
So she kills hundreds of women. Oh, here we go. Stories about Bathory quickly became part of a national folklore. Legends describing her vampiric tendencies, such as the tale that she bathed in the blood of virgins to retain her youth.
If you're wondering how I found out this information, is because I was looking into the history of what was it, Vlad the Impaler and vampires and Dracula. So
no need to explain yourself, Mark. We'll just take this as a thing.
Yeah.
Some insist Elizabeth's story inspired Bram Stoker's novel Dracula. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
anyway.
Really? Okay.
She was one sick lady, and there she is. She doesn't look too happy. And there you go. Right.
I guess that's kind of like Jack the Ripper as well as a serial killer, right?
Yeah, but they never caught him.
That might sound obvious, but like I don't remember a lot of this stuff. What?
They never caught him, but they do say that some people think he was like a Polish immigrant who escaped to. They say he escaped to America, actually.
Oh,
there's loads of. Yeah.
Right.
There's loads of conspiracy theories. Some people say he was a member of the aristocracy. Some people say he was a surgeon to the aristocracy. I mean, there's so many fucking conspiracy theories about Jack the Ripper. It's unbelievable.
Did you cover the Zodiac guy? The Zodiac
killer? No.
Yeah,
you want to, Jay? Will you give me a break, or someone read about the Zodiac killer? I know that Marco doesn't want to.
Do you remember who that is? I saw there was movies about him, and
they didn't find him. They never found the guy.
Oh wow!
This was the guy writing letters, right? And he was like really getting
I mean, there's a good movie you can see, or a documentary.
Michelle, do you want to come on here? It'd be lovely to have a female perspective on this.
Yeah. But there's a good thing on YouTube about the Zodiac killer. I think it may even be it's a movie or a documentary or something.
Well, I think there's like a Netflix drama on it as well, isn't there?
I think that's what's on YouTube.
Okay, we're going for 3 hours here, so it's a lot of time.
Yeah, from what I
are you coming on, Michelle? The link is there. You can come on and talk, Michelle. That's what I meant. Sorry. What did you say, Brother Marcus?
It was 2007. The American, like the movie that I remember called Zodiac. It was a good movie. The acting.
Do you want to give the kind of lowdown there on the Zodiac killer? What he did, or
what? With the Wikipedia thing?
Yeah, why not?
Well, I don't know how else to.
You can just read it out. You don't need to show it. You can just read it.
The Zodiac Killer is the pseudonym of an unidentified serial killer who murdered 5 known victims in the San Francisco Bay Area between December 1968 and October 1969. The case has been described as arguably the most famous unsolved murder case in American history. It has become both a fixture of popular culture and focus for efforts by amateur detectives. The Zodiac's known attacks took place in Vallejo, unincorporated Napa country. He attacked 3 young couples and a lone male cab driver. 2 of these victims survived. The Zodiac coined his name in a series of taunting messages that he mailed to newspapers, regional newspapers, in which he threatened killing sprees and bombings if they were not printed. Isn't this what Ted Kaczynski did too?
Yeah, I mean,
the what's his name? The bomber.
That was the university guy, was it? What do they call him? The
Unabomber, right?
Yeah, Unabomber. Yeah.
Okay.
Kaczynski was a totally different kettle of fish. His motives for doing what he did were complete, as far as we know, because they never found the Zodiac guy. I mean, maybe that was Ted. Who knows?
Huh. You just released that on the internet. That's you opened up a whole new conspiracy there.
He's going to sue me for that too. Not the goddamn Zodiac killer.
Why did Kaczynski do what he did?
It was the whole Luddite thing. He hated a broad overview. He hated where technology was headed. His manifesto is really interesting. It's worth a read. It's definitely worth a read.
Is it kind of similar to like the Luigi case? I don't know if he was going to be a serial killer or not.
Yeah, that's a really interesting thing, isn't it? He did it in a way where he must have known he was going to get caught.
Yeah.
But then again, I've seen, I've seen it, the conspiracy kind of posts and theories pop up. Oh, that's not actually the guy that's on the camera.
Oh.
Jay, you're very quiet.
It's always the quiet ones.
It's always the quiet ones. Those are the ones, you give a side eye to. You're like, what are you up to?
I wonder. I hope I'm not one of his. I hope we're not one of his targets. That's what I'm hoping.
Wait, sorry, what?
Oh, good bluff.
I'm hoping I'm not one of your targets, Jay.
No, sorry, I was kind of falling asleep on myself. Sorry.
All right. Okay.
I'd like to publicly apologize to JE for all the offense I have given your way.
Apology accepted.
Well,
okay.
Yeah. Well, the truth is,
what about like?
Hold on a second, Brother Marcus. There's only two sets here. There's a. I don't mean this offensively, but obviously your ethnicity, your race is slightly different to mine. So apparently it's intraracial. So it can only be white or Indian extraction. So we don't know which he's going for. It's either me and Steve or you. There's a 50-50 chance here, Steve. Brother Marcus, it's gone from. There's a 50-50 chance. Your odds have increased here, Brother Marcus.
Wow.
Wait, am I more at risk or less at risk? I don't know.
You're more at risk now that there's a 50-50 chance that it's because it's interracial, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, the race is a construct.
That took a turn I wasn't expecting.
Sorry, dogs.
Wait, what about like female serial killers? Like, have there been like a lot of research done on them?
We actually had one that was pretty popular in Canada. Terry Schiavo? Is that her name? Terry Schiavo? No. Crap.
Someone put it in the chat. I saw someone who she murdered her 5 kids.
Oh, that's probably who I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Andrea Yates. It's from Michelle. I'm sorry, Michelle. Pasewak. I apologize if I messed your name up. Andrea Yates had mental issues and she unalived her 5 young kids. Yeah, matricide. I've heard. Again, I mean, you hear of cases.
Oh, Carla Homolka. Does that ring a bell?
No, I haven't heard that one.
No.
She was in the news a lot, or the name at least. Yeah, I got that mixed up with someone who Terry Schiavo's got a completely different case. It's a woman who 41-year-old Florida woman who was in a vegetative state for 15 years before her death. That's a different case.
Terry Shriver. Yeah, I remember her. Yeah.
Carla Homolka is a Canadian serial killer who acted as an accomplice to her husband, Paul Bernardo, taking active part in the rapes and murders of at least 3 minors, and including her own sister. Jesus. Between 1990 and 1992.
And she was Canadian.
Yeah.
I think a similar thing happened in England, like maybe 100 years ago. A very similar case.
Who are your kind of the sickest serial killers? I think Rosemary and Fred West. They were sick fuckers, man. Do you know Rosemary and Fred West? They killed their own daughters and shit.
Maybe that's yeah. I've heard of them. Yeah, that was awful.
Wait, but if someone kills like like with the woman you just mentioned who killed her 5 kids. Wouldn't that just, I don't know if that could be classified as being a serial killer, because a serial killer usually kills different people over a period of time rather than just killing, like, you know, a lot of, I guess, 5 people within like one incident. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, it might be a killing spree.
Yeah, that's a killing spree.
Yeah,
a mass murder.
But if they happen, like, wait, which one? Which one? Like, if they happen, if it's just 3, but then I don't even like saying that it was just 3. But like, if they happen like one after the other in days apart, then that would technically be a serial killer, right?
Apparently, killing sprees can. They probably still depends. Like, they're still kind of moving around. They're still in that mode. You know what I mean? The killing mode. It wasn't really an off period because they're still going around. They're trying to kill. You know what I mean? I'd still consider that a killing spree. You know, because they're still like there's no real cooling off. You know.
I forget if the killers of and the torture of I'm going to pronounce her name wrong. Junko Furuta. If they went
oh
on
yeah,
to,
I've heard of that. Yeah.
If they, I'm pretty sure they killed other people too, but I could be wrong about that. I mean, given what they did to her, Jesus.
When that was about 30 years ago or something, wasn't it?
I believe. When did it happen?
Junko Furuta.
Yeah, it was a Japanese.
She died in 1989, right? So around that time. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think I know the case you're talking about. Yeah, that's the same girl. Yeah, that was awful. Yeah.
When I first heard that story, that one to this day, I think it still haunts me. Whenever I think about like this story of, people use the ones that walk away from Amalos and all that stuff. Like I always think about that case and like that's like almost a real life case of like someone
right.
Yeah, going through some bad shit. And
I'm just jumping on the Wikipedia page. I mean, her killers, and they were torturers as well. I mean, they were teenagers. Oldest was 18, youngest, 16, 17, 17, 18. Jesus fucking Christ.
That I find fast, like, because like there was this Slender Man thing where 2 teenage girls like killed it wasn't even like they were younger than that. They were like 11 or 12, something. It's just how could, I mean, it's hard to put my brain in someone else's head, but like to be that young and then to do such horrendous things is baffling to me.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, but then again, so many young kids, they bully other kids, so like I guess we really shouldn't be all that surprised that some of them will take an extra step and go into killing,
Yeah, so in 2020,
because
2 12-year-old girls, Anissa Weiner and Morgan Geiser, lured their friend Peyton Lutner into a wooded area and stabbed her 19 times to appease the fictional supernatural character Slender Man and prove that he was real. Jesus.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, one thing we never mentioned tonight was the kind of tyrannical mass murderers, or the war crime mass murderers, the people who kill like thousands or millions of people in a war or in a genocide.
Like Hitler?
I mean, that is, yeah, like Hitler. Like you could name a lot of politicians who've been in power, who've started wars and stuff, and just people who've given the go ahead for people to be killed in the tens, in the thousands, in the millions. I mean, this is all just levels of disconnection from others. So you've got the disorganized individual impulsively doing it. You've got the organized people doing it for their own egotistical agenda. And then you've got the kind of powerful, organized killers who are killing hundreds of thousands or millions of people for their own agenda, but, also in a kind of more, their own agenda, it's different to the agenda of the kind of typical organized serial killer, because that person's agenda is entirely about themselves. But the kind of mass murderer who's doing it on a global scale is doing it to change the world, or to control lots of people. So there's like an externalized focus of the power, if you know what I mean. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You remember Unit 731? Was that it? Yeah, 731. Yeah. Does this ring a bell to any of you guys?
Can you say it again, please?
Unit 731.
Oh, right. That was Germany's. Or was that Japan's? That was Japan's, I think. That was Japanese. They were renowned for the experiments.
Covert Biological and Chemical Research and Development Unit in Imperial Japanese Army that engaged in lethal human experimentation and biological weapon manufacturing.
Yeah.
It pretty much just like government torture of people. And
They just, look, the Japanese military they were next level, man. Seriously, when they went through Nanking.
I was going to say the rape of Nanking or the massacre there. These are government stuff, like not serial killers.
Oh yeah. But then again,
but I don't think there was any. I think all governments did that type of shit throughout the ages. It's just modernity.
Absolutely. But it does raise. I mean, there's obviously these topics raise a million questions, but. The
interesting thing is, what would people do if they were given an opportunity? This is the interesting thing about this kind of brief and like shallow look into criminology. It is like, if the social norms change, okay, and if the people around you are doing something, what would you do? You know what I mean? That's a scary question.
Do you remember the Milgram experiment? Is
this the one where they were electrocuting the person and they were told to do it? Yeah, normal.
A good number of people just kept going, just because someone asked.
Yeah. Just because a member of authority was telling them to do it, just because it was normalized. Yeah.
And then I think,
the person who was pretending to get electrocuted was screaming sometimes, weren't they?
Yeah.
And terrifying.
And then, of course, there's
some of those organizations.
Yeah, the Stanford prison experiment has been debunked. That's actually
that one's more sketchy than the Milgram one.
Yeah,
but Milgram still found, like, I think that was replicated as well, and
probably
that was. I think. Oh, it's.
Right, don't forget, others watching don't know. The people watching don't know may not know the experiments. So you can describe them for them.
It's like 65% going up to. They say 450 volts, which I think like kills a person or severely.
Insane, isn't it? Isn't that insane?
Yeah, I think they might have even said that this might kill the person, but please do it anyway. Yeah, they were saying stuff like that, weren't they?
And it's so easy for us to sit here and go, "Oh, that's crazy," but I wonder. I mean, how would I react? Like, how?
I'll be honest here. I like it now. I wouldn't do it now, but I will be honest. When I was younger, because I was like, nervous sometimes, around authority or whatever, I might have done it. Because if I felt pressurized to do it before my mind was fully formed, do you know what I mean? If I had been like 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, before my brain was fully formed, like as a guy, your brain takes a while to mature. I think I could have been persuaded to. And I think that's why a lot of these, these soldiers that go to war, they're young guys, generally speaking, their brains aren't even fully fucking mature. And they're running around on the battlefield and they're just doing what they're told. And not many young soldiers question what they're being told to do, because it's incomprehensible to question what you're being told to do at that age, because you think that the older people know what they're doing.
True, but I think that simplifies it quite a lot. Oversimplifies it. Like, you've got people who go into the military to get an education for free, and they don't expect to end up in Iraq, for example. That's And also the conscripts. Like, I don't know if the stories are true in Ukraine about dragging young guys off the streets, but there is such a thing as conscription. So you're going to throw guys into these fucking meat grinders, and what choice do they have, really? You're told if you don't advance, we'll shoot you from the back, kind of thing. That those kind of stories.
Yeah, terrifying stories. Yeah.
Oh, horrific. Just horrific. Imagine that. I've even read ages like, men aged between 16 and 60, and I'm thinking, oh Christ, you don't want to put me in a battlefield. I wouldn't know what to do. Seriously, what am I going to do? What's a guy in his 50s going to do in a fucking trench? Talk philosophy or something. Now, gentlemen, we don't need to do this based on something.
Now, according to Hannah Arendt, with the banality of evil, there is this.
No offense, Brother Marcus, but I think you might get shot by one of your own. Yeah.
It's probably suicide by philosophy. It's probably the best way to go
out. Oh dear.
Yeah. Wait, so Brother Marcus.
I think BMW, you raised a really interesting point before as well about like the real mass killers like Stalin, Hitler, and those guys, and Pol Pot who just kill millions by proxy. Like they're not actually the ones pulling the triggers or stabbing people, whatever they do, but they just give orders. I mean,
it's like Charles Manson on steroids, isn't it? Basically, they didn't do the killing.
There's a lot of ifs, ands, and there's a lot of umming and ahhing about that case, about the legitimacy of the conviction. But let's assume that the story is true as told. Yes, you're right.
Oh, I didn't know that. Tell me about that then. There's questions about Charles. I don't really. I kind of. It's one of those cases that you hear so much about that you almost forget the details, because it's just told so many times. Like I know about the women and the women did things for him. And go on, tell us why it's questionable.
Look, I'm the same. I'm the same as you. It's been a while since I looked at it, but I'm just going to make an ass of myself here. I have watched stuff before, and it does seem to me that like his lawyer or the prosecution lawyer was apparently on a real big witch hunt or something. Look, honestly, I've forgotten the details. I just recall that there was a lot of
he's one person that had a fucked up life though. He was born to a prostitute mother, and like he had a really shit childhood, and he went into like shoplifting and thieving from during his childhood.
Like I'm certainly not saying he's not a crazy wacko, but it does seem that there may have been holes in the case in retrospect. But again, details, I'm sorry, I don't know. But it's definitely interesting to look into. I mean, have you seen some of his jailhouse interviews?
Yeah.
I mean,
he's lauded as some intellectual, brilliant. I think he's just a madman. He just comes out with all bullshit.
I mean, it's what's the line between madness and genius? And I think he's been in solitary, hasn't he, for the whole time? So that's going to.
He's dead now, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
He was racist as well, wasn't he? He was all about segregation, and he was a crazy bastard.
But again, that was probably normal-ish for that kind of time.
At the time.
But, yeah. Again, I'm sure if you were to do a profile of the guy, again, you'd probably look at it and go, gosh, some of those things apply to me. It is but by the grace of God we do go.
Yeah. Wait, so I wanted to ask Brother Marcus about serial killer traits within the antinatalist community, because I think you guys mentioned it earlier, a lot of those traits even apply to people within our community itself, so there's a good question there about how much does our philosophy and way of thinking, our worldview, pessimistic worldview, lend credence to those type of people within the community.
Can I ask you not to name names or anything like that? I don't want to get in shit. Yeah.
Let me just adjust my fedora and open up my phone. No, I think that was for you, Marcus. I think he was asking you.
Well, there's a certain interview I conducted with someone that we talked about some studies about the dark triad traits, and I mean, yeah, they're there. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's there, and I warn people about it. And then there's the connection that Lanza did watch this. Oh, sorry, you said no names. I mean, that's a documented thing, but
there wasn't an ephilism, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, in the AN online space,
yeah, true.
It bleeds over into each other, and you're talking about a community with those traits. It just is what it is, whether we like it or not.
Yeah. Those darn athletes, man.
But you could say the same thing about the Royal College of Surgeons. There's a lot of psychopaths there, but they're not doing anything terribly bad.
But I wouldn't even like say, oh, the aphilus. It's just like, because people are using this label to try to scapegoat, and no, like some people just don't like the term, but they still have the same beliefs. So, someone who's like, even like, I never want to call myself that. They could share the exact same traits.
Yeah,
and I don't think I'm saying anything controversial.
I think with Lanza, I mean, yes, there's a connection, but it's got to be careful not to overstate that influence. I don't think, no one's responsible except for Adam Lanza for what he did, but there is still a lot of stuff. So,
well, I mean, like, if you look at the qualities of like what we just covered today, and it just even any cursory thing, and I'm not saying this is a unique community or space, because I've seen it also in like the incel, the black pill, like those spaces as well. Actually, I think I'm more scared of those spaces. This one tends to be like people who sometimes can't take care of themselves, and
I think most people are talking about the suffering of others here. They don't actually enjoy people's suffering, which can be a good thing, because that means they're not necessarily
that conclusion too
quickly. Not all of. No, I'm saying most people. I'm saying obviously there's people that do enjoy other people's suffering. I'm saying it seems most people get upset by the suffering of others. So they don't seem to be sadistic, which is a good thing.
Where do you see that?
I think most of the AN. I think most people.
So I dare you to ask any administrator who had to filter out people posting gore content, and
but is that most of
the
them?
high levels of Schadenfreude in the space? I
would you say
you
most
don't see it
content,
because it gets filtered out?
Yeah. You were an admin, right, or something, were you?
Yeah, for like 2 weeks, and I couldn't even handle it.
Was most of the content, would you say, problematic then?
Yes.
Most of it.
Well, a lot of memes. There's a lot of memes.
Okay.
Well, I'm just going to refer back to something that Amanda said, that she said she's had to talk down a lot of ethilists from going out and randomly killing people and animals.
Really?
That's a quote from her.
Wow, interesting.
She's had to talk a lot of them down, and that's
really concerning.
Yeah, it blows my mind that didn't become bigger. Like, why? That to me is a hell of a thing to say.
It is, yeah. That's really, really serious, yeah.
Well, now that you know, like, what can you do, right? That's what happens.
And I've seen stuff. I've seen a lot of stuff which I never talk about, which honestly just makes me go, oh fuck, this is ridiculous. What am I doing here?
Well, before I used to post like almost weekly, or like, it got tiresome, because you spend 1 week in this space and you'll see someone talking about harming others. It's just part of the thing. And I get, I'll post about the high profile ones, but other than that, that's all you can do. And or you can get out. But
don't go on Twitter.
I don't think it's just unique. I don't think it's just unique to AI.
No, that's what I'm saying. Don't go on Twitter, because they're trying to. It's everywhere, isn't it? People depends. Online does seem to be that type of place. People do kind of what's the word? They become bigger version. Their evil becomes a bigger version of itself than it would otherwise on the street. You know what I mean? Because there's no one around.
I remember when I first hit YouTube's I was using the example with the animal rights world and the vegan world. I mean, I don't think it's any stretch of the imagination to think that there are people out there who think that the meat is murder, right? And so if they're going to have that type of mentality, they're going to maybe in closed spaces wish harm upon carnists. And I don't think that's a controversial statement either. I think or I don't think that's like a stretch of imagination. So I've seen that. I've seen people like wish harm and to like people who harm animals, and I don't even mean it that, like people who aren't vegan, right? That so that's a space outside of AN where I've seen that type of rhetoric, and political. If you go to different political extremes, you'll find people who are okay with harming and killing other people, and
I think there's a difference though, and like one thing I notice if we broadly call it the antinatalist, ethicalist area, the problem that I see is that it's not just about permissiveness. It goes a bit further sometimes, and it talks about the ethicality of doing that.
True, that's true.
Yeah,
that is unique. Yeah.
And that's when it becomes that's obviously when it becomes a problem to me. So, or to, I guess, not just to me, of course, but when you start saying that kind of stuff is an ethically optional or ethically obligatory, whew. And you see some of the stuff they say on. I mean, again, you don't. You just go and have a look for yourself, and it won't take you long to find shit that people say.
Yeah, like
so
a minority, but you do recognize that's like part of the space, right? Do you know? There's no way you're ignorant of that stuff.
I think also,
I do. No, of course I recognise that there's people who say atrocious things. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But I don't know whether it's all. I don't think it's the majority. That's what I'd say. I'd say most people who come to AN.
It's enough of an issue that ignoring it.
Oh yeah. No, the problem is it's always an issue, isn't it? And I think that any potential problem like that is an issue, definitely, because one person can do a lot of harm. Yeah. I mean, and I think that is potentially harmful is an issue. Even if it's like 1 million people and one person wants to do something really terrible, then it's a fucking issue, isn't it? Because I don't think that endangers innocent people is an issue.
Or random animals, because I remember there was conversations about killing random animals, and I don't know if there's evidence for it, but I think some people in this space have done that, right?
That's an interesting question, though. We didn't talk about that, but this is another problem. Like, what about people who get enjoyment out of killing animals, like lots of animals? Like, we were a bit speciesist this evening. We just talked about humans killing humans, but what about some humans getting sadistic pleasure from killing animals? I mean, obviously, in their childhood,
isn't that one of the predictors? Isn't that one of the predictors?
Yeah, I was about to say that in their childhood, that is predictive of their future, serial killing nature of humans. But there are some humans who stay within that. They get like pleasure from killing animals.
Like hunters.
I remember a few years ago in London, we had this. There was a fear that there was someone called the cat killer going around, and they were killing cats. It was. I think it was since debunked. They said it was actually foxes doing it. I haven't heard about it since, but there was a worry that there was someone going around decapitating domestic cats. Grabbing them off people's doorsteps and like killing them in horrible ways. But yeah, no, there are definitely people out there in the world who do that. Abuse animals, and it's terrifying. But
there's a very prominent person in this community who has on record that he's buried 50 cats, and that is a pretty fucking vague statement.
Right. So there you go. It does happen. People kill animals for different. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, J.E., how do you? So you asked the question. What do you think, or what do you feel about that answer? Those answers, or the commentary we just had?
Oh well, yeah. It's it's obviously very concerning, but I I guess that's why I've mainly kind of withdrawn myself from watching a lot of the content, because you never know what the person may be thinking, or even watching their content, you never know if you could be encouraging them to maybe take things a step further and go out and actually do something harmful to other people, so it makes you very, very extra cautious about who you're engaging with in this community.
Okay.
Yeah, this community. I object to that.
You object to what?
Calling me part of the community. He said this community. I'm joking, Jerry.
Oh.
You tried to check out, mate, but you can never leave.
Oh, God. Yeah. So, anybody else want to come on here? The link is there. Otherwise, we will shut this down soon. It is actually quite late here, so it's no harm.
So is the lesson that we can't? Is the lesson that we can't do anything?
So the lesson from all of this?
Yeah, no, we can't protect ourselves.
No, we can't. We can look out for others. We can look for troubled people to try to encourage them to get help. We can signpost them to authorities. We can also, make authorities aware of any worries we have about people. We can also, be a voice for victims of society, and we can also, if you're around people talk like this, you can move yourself out of those communities so that it doesn't become normalized for you. If you are having dark thoughts, you yourself can get therapy, okay? So you don't get worse. I think that's mostly it. And then obviously we talked about if you're in a fucking situation where there's nutters around you kicking off, it's good to know self-defense. It's good to know to run. If you can't run, hide. If you can't hide, then fight. If you have to fight, know self-defense. Yeah. And don't be afraid to defend yourself fully when you're in such a terrible situation. But yeah, there are things you can do, but hopefully you'll never have to. That's the I suppose what we've learned. And
serial killers are rare, right? Like they don't make up a lot of the population anyway.
No, it is a rare phenomenon, thankfully. But still, there's a lot of violence on the streets. There's a lot of other things happening, sexual assaults and stuff. There's a lot of unfortunate victimization out there in this world of people by predators. So very careful. And yeah, Michelle says if you have active shooting or someone stabbing people on the street or whatever it is, run or hide. Yes, well done, Michelle. Good advice.
That's why I don't leave my apartments. I'm forever hiding.
Yes. That's if you can afford to do that, then that's good advice as well.
I was joking. Don't.
I know. So, guys, any closing remarks for this show? I'll go around. UF dogs will go around clockwise. UF dogs got anything?
No, really interesting topic, mate. Cheers for doing it. I enjoy your streams. I often listen, even if I'm not commenting. I often just put it on, and have a listen because I think they're really cool. So good man.
Oh, cheers, bro. Thank you. Just skeptical. Got anything to say in closing?
All I have to say is don't be a serial killer. That's it. Just don't be a serial killer. Be nice.
Yep. Thank you. And Brother Marcus, anything to say?
Yeah, interesting topic, and be safe, and that's it. Yeah. Godspeed.
Yeah. Okay, Brother Marcus, thank you. So yeah, basically, guys, if you are having dark thoughts, if you want to hurt others, I would say it's not going to bring you any joy. It's going to make your life worse. So definitely seek help. If you have an innate desire to hurt other people.
Sounded like you just did Steve Hale.
No, I said seek help. Definitely seek help. But yeah, unfortunately, I can see the tonal similarity there. But yeah, definitely seek help. From a medical practitioner, a psychologist, or whatever. From a friend that you trust, from a family member that you trust. Also, look out for others. Don't be the person that causes someone else to snap. Don't cause someone else to become mentally problematic. Don't bully people. Don't be mean. Don't isolate others. Be kind. Watch others. As we learned tonight, 80% of people tell others what they're going to do. So listen to others. Take threats seriously. Inform authorities if you think someone is going to cause harm to others or kill others. Don't take it lightly. Okay, put it on the radar, because innocent people may suffer if you don't. Yeah, so generally be kinder. Don't cause others to suffer psychologically. Don't create more monsters. And seek help if you're having dark thoughts. And I hope that you also learn how to protect yourself, get self-defense lessons, or watch some videos online about how to defend yourself. Keep yourself as fit as possible so that you can run away from, problematic situations, and so that you can also protect yourself if needs be. Hopefully, none of this will ever happen to you or your loved ones or anybody. Be very careful out there. The world is an extremely dangerous place. But try to create a little bubble within this hellscape reality at times, where you can enjoy life as best as you can with people around you that have your interests in mind, and that you can help through this strange reality. Anyway, guys and ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. We had a conversation, and we learned a little bit about something that was very unsavory. But it is what it is. This reality isn't always pleasant, and it's good to be aware of the darker aspects of it, so that we can be more ready for any tragic circumstances that may happen, and we can act with intelligence and forethought. Okay, take care, everybody. That's it. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.